However, I will always say quite confidently, I do think a lot of the freshies from LV are horribly overpriced. They use some nice naturals, but their ideas aren't overly complex, overly impressive, and they charge you crazy amounts of money. Generally, I say it is very hard for a clone fragrance to replicate an original to the point that it actually makes the original redundant. However, that is becoming increasingly less rare these days because I feel like the clone genre is just getting better in general. Today we have 10 clone fragrances that I believe are making their original counterparts redundant. Today's video is sponsored by DXB Perfume, a long-standing partner of the channel, who provide you the option to have both fragrance samples as well as full bottles of a variety of Middle Eastern brands, including Lattafa, Afnan, Swiss Arabian, as well as Ajmal and many others. But more about that later on in the video. Let's begin the main list. I'll first start off the video with Lattafa's Emeer as an honorable mention. I have to give this an honorable mention because I haven't actually tried Clive Christian's Town and Country, which this is replicating, but to me Lattafa Emeer is a masterpiece. This is a 10 out of 10, and I've heard from many comments that this kind of does make the original redundant, or it smells very close to it. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from the comments I'm reading. So if you guys have tried Town and Country, let me know if you've tried both of these, and does Emeer make the original redundant, yes or no? This is sharp, fresh, luxurious, beautiful ambergris in the air. That's how I would describe it as a summary. Try it out if you haven't already, guys. Number 1, Armaf's Odyssey Aqua. This replicates Invictus Platinum, a fragrance I used to own a bottle of, and I gave it away quite quickly afterwards because I didn't really care for it. It's quite green, minty, bubblegum synthetic, woody, absinthe. The fresh lineup of Invictus are kind of a little bit always tacky these days. I feel like they're just not doing well in the modern era. This Odyssey Aqua makes it a lot better. It takes away all the annoying parts and injects its own twist in there that makes it a lot better. So the original didn't really have much of an aquatic aspect. So this has the orange, the mint, the aquatic aspects in here. It smells fresh, modern, much easier to wear than Platinum in my opinion, while still having great longevity, around 8 to 10 hours with a medium projection. So this is an example of a clone making the original redundant, not because it replicates it so accurately, but because it actually does it better, and it does it for a better price as well. I think this is like a third of the price of Invictus Platinum. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I recommend Odyssey Aqua instead. Zimaya's Mazaaj Infused. So this is replicating LV's Imagination, a fragrance that I think is overhyped personally, but hey, what do I know? However, I will always say quite confidently, I do think a lot of the freshies from LV are horribly overpriced. They use some nice naturals, but their ideas aren't overly complex, overly impressive, and they charge you crazy amounts of money. In my opinion, you should go for more interesting fragrances that are in that niche realm or a similar price to that. So LV might not necessarily be seen as niche, but they're charging niche prices. Mazaaj Infused has that same DNA. I would say 90% similar, of that bergamot, the green tea note, or whatever tea it is, the ambroxan. It's musky, clean, bright, summery, unisex. So it is an easy DNA to rock, but I don't think you need to spend an arm and a leg to get this DNA. The opening here, I will admit, is not as nice as Imagination, but it doesn't last that long, maybe 5 minutes, and then you get to the good parts, and you get at least 90% similar Imagination here for a much better price, maybe around a 10th of the price or an 8th of the price. So in my opinion, go for Mazaaj Infused instead. It lasts a similar amount of time as well, around 6 to 8 hours. I already told you guys about DXB Perfume, how they give you the option to sample or get a full bottle of a variety of Middle Eastern brands. But did you guys know that DXB actually have their own in-house brands that are exclusive to them? So if you're based in the UK or EU, you can try some excellent fragrances from them. I've tried out a bunch of them that's in-house to them, and these are some of my favorites so far. We have Blends of Dubai Caramel Latte. You might be able to guess that this is a clone of Bianco Latte. A DNA I don't really like that much, but I will say this gets it very close. Beautiful packaging as well, a great atomizer, and I would say it gets it around 90% pressured atomizer, 90% similar. It has that vanilla cookie, caramel, tonka bean aspect of the original. I don't even know why it's called Bianco Latte. It doesn't smell like coffee at all to me. Maybe it's a slightly milky effect that's like kind of like a latte, but it smells more like a vanilla cookie. If you love that DNA, go for this instead, in my opinion. This actually makes it redundant. It has pretty much the exact same quality and very similar performance as well. And we have 2 new releases from DXB Perfume. We have Essential Perfumes Ibrahim. Again, similar to LV's Imagination, I don't think you need to spend an arm and a leg for LV's Afternoon Swim. This replicates that, has a very similar opening. I almost refer to it as like an orange flavored Tiger. So it has orange, the sandalwood, ambroxan, very easy to wear, musky, beautiful for the summertime. But then this also dries down to like a creamy muskiness that kind of reminds you of the two Allure Homme Sport fragrances, the original and the Extreme. So this is a very nice, high quality summer fragrance I think a lot of you will love, and it seems to last around 6 hours on my skin. Now, this is the kind of fragrance you can get like 8 sprays of in the summertime. I think a lot of you will absolutely love this. And then lastly, we have Essential Perfumes Hamdan over here. This replicates Ahmed al-Maghribi's Bin Sheikh, which I haven't tried, but to me, this is like an intense, strong, Middle Eastern medicinal animalic oud and rose fragrance. I guess a bit sweeter, muskier, ambery, and the dry down is sort of like it's that intense style at the beginning, and then it dries down to something more similar to Oud for Greatness. So if you want that intense Middle Eastern fragrance that you're looking for the cold weather, this is it. You can get all these new in-house releases from DXB Perfume, as well as a variety of Middle Eastern brands, by using our code SCHOOL15 at checkout, using the link in the description down below. If you use our code at checkout, you'll get 15% off. Let's continue the video. French Avenue's Liquid Brun. I had such high expectations for this fragrance before it arrived to me, and it met those expectations. I've never been the biggest fan of Althaïr. You guys know I'm a bit of a hater for that fragrance. I think it's overpriced as well, although it is very pleasant and easy to wear. This smells 95% plus similar to it. I do not think you need Althaïr. It has that very sexy cinnamon, praline, orange blossom, airy, and broxen in here, the vanilla in here. This is a beautiful, sweet fragrance you can wear most of the year round, especially if you want a head turner. You got very good quality, very good performance, around 10 to 12 hours with medium to loud projection. I like a lot of PDM stuff, but Althaïr I do think is overpriced. I don't think you need it. I think this really does make it redundant. I've said it several times on my videos already. Lattafa Al Nashama Caprice. I like La Nuit Bleu Électrique a lot. I think it's great. It's a sexy, spicy, cardamom, woody, amber DNA that revolutionized the La Nuit game, kind of rejuvenated the original into modern times. It was sad that it was very difficult to get. It's now discontinued, I believe. And this here smells 95% similar. It has 10 hours longevity, better performance, medium projection. It has that versatility still, that sexiness of the original La Nuit Bleu Électrique. So to me, this is a 10 out of 10, whilst Bleu Électrique is a 9 out of 10. This is actually an improvement on the original. That's even more insane for a clone to do that. 37.9% of people who watch School of Scent are subscribed to us. If you guys really want to see our channel grow, go ahead and click subscribe. Let's get that number to 40%. Thank you. Afnan Supremacy Incense. Now, from my limited experience with the original Amouage Interlude Man, the Blue Beast, I would say it's not a bad fragrance. It has this iconic oregano, spiciness, darkness. There's oud in here. It's a very dark, intense Middle Eastern fragrance. Very relentless. It is, if you like that style of Middle Eastern perfumery, that's what you go for. That's what I like about Amouage. They know their style. But I will say Black Iris exists, and so does 53, Interlude 53, which probably both those two I would slightly prefer over the original. So to me, this Supremacy Incense is 90% similar to the original from what I can tell, and it smells much higher quality than its price tag. This is a very good flanker. This is my number 2 flanker from the entire Supremacy line. We did a buying guide quite recently, guys, so this is number 2 after collector's edition, of course, my baby. But this, to me, I think would make the original redundant. The original is very expensive for a very limited fragrance to wear. It has limited wearability. It's a nice cold weather nighttime fragrance, autumn or winter, nighttime only in my opinion. So for that limited wearability, I would say go for a much more affordable alternative that still smells very high quality. And this is also beastly. This is like 12 hours plus medium to loud projection. So it does everything correct in my books. Another Afnan Turathi Brown. I gave this fragrance a 10 out of 10. Yes, even before Afnan partnered on the channel as well, guys. This is a great replication of YSL's Tuxedo. Again, another fragrance I think is overpriced. I've never been the biggest lover of it. I know a lot of reviewers go crazy for this fragrance. People love this DNA. I gave Roche's Mustache Eau de Parfum a 10 out of 10. I think that already made it redundant, but I think this does it even better because Mustache always had problems with its projection. This is a very good 90% similar fragrance to Tuxedo, that spiciness, the amber, the patchouli, the rose in here. It has a bit more of a Middle Eastern muskiness to it as well. It has a slight twist, and the opening is not the best. The first 20 minutes are not the best of this fragrance, but that increased projection, the great quality overall, great longevity as well, like 8 to 10 hours, I believe, from my memory. This, to me, makes the original redundant. It's just much better value for money for a DNA that I kind of think is overhyped in general. Armaf's Club de Nuit Lionheart Man. Okay, so this replicates JPG's Le Mal Elixir, which is a smooth, loud, creamy vanilla fragrance with a hint of honey in there and a bit of lavender. I see why Le Mal Elixir is very popular. It's very easy to wear, although I think it's quite thick and syrupy. I prefer this. I think this makes the original redundant, which might be controversial. This is around half of the price of Le Mal Elixir. If I had to guess, this is more airy, more ambroxan based, and a little bit fresher. I feel like Lionheart is an easier version of Le Mal Elixir to wear. If you want a sexy, loud vanilla fragrance that's more balanced, you can wear it both in the day and night, as opposed to Le Mal Elixir, which I think is more of an evening scent only. I think this is better. Both of the fragrances I give a 9 out of 10 in fairness. I would wear either one of them in 3 out of 4 seasons. I wouldn't wear either of them in the summertime. Rosasi La Yucca One pour Homme. So I believe I tried this fragrance actually 6 years ago through a sample back in the days when Natina were doing samples. I don't think they do those anymore. La Yucca One makes Tom Ford's Tuscan leather completely redundant, in my opinion. It has that same luxurious vibe of Tuscan leather, the rich leather in there, of course, the raspberry. It smells a bit smoky, a little bit dry. Well, I will say the Tuscan leather is actually a little bit more challenging because it has a bit more of an intense dry woodiness to it. This kind of has a slight ambery twist to it. But I would say 90% plus similar to Tuscan leather. It's a special occasion fragrance for people who love leather. It's maybe not super beginner friendly, but for around a third of the price of Tuscan leather, I feel like to get this DNA in your collection that might have limited wearability, this is a much better deal in my opinion. And also I think it used to be even stronger back when I first tried it. I think like one spray from a sample just filled up a room, and it probably lasted around 24 hours, but that was a long time ago. This still lasts 12 hours and with a loud projection. And lastly, Thameen's Carved Oud. Okay, so it seems like the end of this video is just me bashing on Tom Ford private blends. Oud Wood, of course, is a great DNA. I think it's a legendary DNA. I feel like you have to have this DNA in your collection if you're a collector in general, because it's so iconic, it's sexy, it smells like multifaceted woodiness, it smells like the masculinity of the forest with this sexy ambery muskiness in there and the dry down. A hint of cardamom as well, I think, is in there. But Thameen's Carved Oud smells more rich. It has a slight incense note in here, a little bit darker. It smells like it's more worth its price tag, which is a similar price tag, but probably even more affordable than Oud Wood, because the private blend line is getting more and more overpriced as the days go by. I'm not sure why Tom Ford keep increasing their prices, or Estee Lauder, whoever owns them. Carved Oud smells richer, more expensive, it's longer lasting, around 10 hours with a medium projection, I would say nowadays. This, yes, is a similar price, but I think it's worth it. I think it's probably making the original Oud Wood redundant based on modern formulations of Oud Wood. But that concludes the video, guys. What do you think of my list? Do you agree or disagree if you've tried both the clones and the originals of any of the fragrances mentioned today? Do you agree with my sentiment that clone fragrances actually are increasingly getting better, scarily better, and are starting to make more and more of the originals redundant? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Should be interesting. And make sure you are checking out DXB Perfume in the link in the description down below, guys, to try out the usual popular Middle Eastern brands as well as the in-house brands of DXB Perfume. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our previous video where I tried some hyped Middle Eastern fragrances that you wanted me to review next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.